What's going on, everybody? Doc here, Average Gamer Guys. I had intended to do a video talking about two things here today. One, not so good, and one that I'm actually pretty excited for. So I was planning on showcasing a handful of things and talking about the Headhunting Arena being reset and progress with the rewards and everything that comes along with that. It's probably good that I can't get in the game because, and this is just my timing is poor. They're just doing some server maintenance here. I'm sure we'll be able to get in here pretty quickly. We just had an update actually for some bug fixes as well. So if you are not aware, go and update your game and just probably prepping for a few things, but also some technical fixes and some bug fixes as well. So, you know me. If you don't, welcome to the channel. Hit that subscribe button for me. But those of you that are stopping back in, do, and know that I'm usually pretty positive about the game. And I've been, again, here's the thing. The perspective I have, I've been playing the game for many, many years, almost since launch. Not quite, but just about since launch, on and off, very steady for a couple of years. And then I would always come back to it with some pretty high regularity. Pretty far advanced in the game. We have a lot of the major achievements, some of the other stuff. There's a few things that we're still working on, but we have, a max base, we have a max settlement. I have seen the iterations of events come and go, things change, mechanics change. That happens in a game in order for the game to stay fresh and to be exciting. I have seen some really, really positive updates in terms of loot and how events are run. I've also seen the opposite side. I've also been a part of the game when things were very difficult to get, right? I think folks that have just recently started the game, and when I say recently, I mean within the last year, okay? If you weren't playing back in the days where the chopper was the first vehicle, and it was an extreme grind to get. Sometimes it's hard for me to kind of conceptualize, but I understand, people coming into the game now don't have that concept. That's the perspective that I come with when I share a lot of my thoughts and my feelings around the game. Back in the day, if you didn't know, getting the chopper was extremely difficult. Bunker Alpha, was relatively new. It didn't have all the floors that it has. You could work towards getting, your crates, but in order to get the proper parts for your chopper, it was hard. It was a really, really big grind. That stuff has changed. The chopper is probably the easiest thing to get in the game, thanks to the survival path and the season pass and different events and just the locations themselves and those items being much more accessible. I say all that because that, again, I wanted folks to understand the perspective that I come with when I'm thinking about, I'm talking about events and progression in the game. People have, Transport Hub is another probably very much more recent example of being a really, really good place to farm that then folks felt like it got nerfed a lot. I won't tell you necessarily that the rewards at the Transport Hub are great, but the items that you can get there and the quantities at which you get them make that place a very repeatable place to get resources, right? And is it perfect? No. The game's not perfect by any means. But the options to go out and get a lot of the things that we need are abundant for the most part, right? There are still some very difficult resources to attain, but for the most part, most resources in the game, if you know how to clear locations, if you understand the mechanics, are not terrible, right? Are you going to advance and have an ATV in 2 months of being free to play? No, you're not. You're just not. We are nearing it. We'll be at probably 10 or 11 months by the time this whole thing wraps up. And That feels pretty reasonable to me. I put the ATV as one of probably the most top tier, top end kind of achievements. It's the last vehicle that we can get. You know, we've got the chopper, we've got the boat, we're about to get the ATV. And I don't feel like that progression has been bad. I feel like we've been able to very steadily work towards it. We have obviously prioritized it. We could have put those resources into other things like weapon mods and some other stuff, upgrading our base if we wanted to do that. But I chose to move towards upgrading the ATV. That feels decent. That feels reasonable, right? There's certainly some tweaks that I would hope. I think what upsets me the most about Headhunter event specifically is we saw 2 iterations of it. We saw it get revamped. The old Headhunting Arena, we've talked back and forth. I'm not going to comment anymore on this. Old Headhunter Arena was good for some things. The new arena is good for some other reasons, right? I like the new boss fights. The old boss fights were a little bit more difficult. The new one's a little bit more new players friendly. The rewards in the new one are not good. They're just not good. The old one, you were really able to get and to progress with especially rare weapon mods if you could spend the resources and had success with doing that. But the new one, again, has its merits. I think the thing that frustrates me the most about the new Headhunting Arena is if it would have maintained and stayed where it was and progress would have maintained from each season, I felt like it would have been a reasonable change. The track rewards, I do think, is a good system overall. Now, Headhunting Arena's track rewards are terrible, so that needs to be looked at. But the purpose of it, though, when you take a step back and you look at it, if you're a newer player, somebody maybe isn't quite at rating yet, those resources in that track were still going to be good for you with the purpose of what Headhunter Arena or the arena has always been, which is weapon modification. So everybody complains, and rightfully so. I did as well. Complains about bolts, complains about, whatever, plastic, complains. The problem with that, or the thought process behind that, though, is those are still resources that are very valuable when you're upgrading weapons. Okay, so again, reward track, it's not good, but it at least makes sense for what the purpose of that event is. The problem I have is with the track resetting and likely going to reset now every season, there's not enough time and there's no ability to grind that to get the top end rewards. That part is really frustrating to me. Without spending coins, right? Which we can relate to money. If there was a way to grind coins in the game successfully outside of the VIP zone, which there isn't, that's the frustrating part. If you could go grind coins and then choose to spend them there to get better rewards or to complete that track, to get the event skins or whatever, that would be one thing, because then it would at least be a resource grind that you could go complete. One of the things I would like to see as part of a change that I think could help to alleviate some of this would be, instead of requiring coins, maybe we get some ad skips for the ability to run additional iterations. I think having 3 per day is fine. I'd like to see it actually be 4. Personally, I just think it makes sense that if you wanted to complete one of each level, you should be able to do 4. But 4 each day, and then give us an ad skip or 2 that I think would allow folks to still continue to progress and push forward with the event without having to spend the coins. Now, if they wanted to accelerate that progress, like get the additional points or make the event easier, for instance, with those additional buffs, I think those are fine. Maybe throw ad skips for those too. You only have 10, so that's a resource that you have to manage. But that seems like a reasonable request for this event. Other than that, as many of you have stated comments and in the Discord, most folks are just going to avoid the event now, which is really, really unfortunate. One, for the folks that work behind the scenes to make those bosses and that event, because it is fun. The boss fights are really fun. They're unique. They're different. I like that it rotates like we saw with the commune event. I think there's incremental progress that has been made with these events, especially over the last year with the reward track. We just finished up Forlorn Fair, which is just phenomenal. There's so much to like. There's so many good aspects of it. It feels so close to being good. And I recognize that seasonal events are hard. Seasonal events are really hard to get right, where you're not going to get a crazy amount of progress, but also not going to, where you're also not going to allow people to just like blow through the game, right? But also make it feel rewarding. It's this weird balance of having to do it often enough and also make those events interesting enough for people to come back and keep playing them. Old commune event didn't get played a lot because it was too resource intensive, but the rewards were, you didn't have any control over them, so they were typically pretty bad. New commune event, they adjusted, and it's not as profitable as it was the first iteration. However, it's still very, very good. If you want to go and get some top tier rewards, you play that, you grind that for a couple of days, you're going to walk away from the event, in my opinion, feeling pretty satisfied for picking up, a top tier level 3 dog, certainly your ATV transmissions or other parts for the ATV. Or if you're past that progression point, you're grabbing, for me personally, I'm grabbing purple Blackport PD cards, Spectre cards, and I'm grabbing drone blueprints. That's fantastic. Those are top tier rewards that at least I know if I put the time in, if I grind that for a few days, I'm going to be able to get that stuff. So I understand there's some tweaking. I know it's easy to instantly feel like we're getting gypped and to, throw the middle finger up and say, screw these guys. It's a delicate balance. It's just really unfortunate that track reset and there doesn't seem to be a pathway forward without spending coins to get to the end. That's the biggest complaint from folks. If you're playing this game and you don't understand that it's a resource grind and that you're going to have to spend time, you're going to have to play it every day to really get progress, like, this just may not be for the game for you, right? If you want really fast progress and you want to move things forward, you're going to have to spend money. Clash Clans, another very, very popular mobile game, different than this game, is the same way though, right? Upgrading resources, all that stuff is grindable. And if you're willing to put the time in, you can make great progress, but that stuff doesn't happen very quickly. This, very much the same. The free-to-play methodology has to have a balance where they're making some revenue to continue to support the game. And yes, they can do that in other ways. Season Pass is great. Skins are great. Cosmetics are great. Extra storages, things in the shop. Certainly, there's a lot of really good stuff in the shop to help make this game easier, right? To make your life a little bit easier. It's just really unfortunate that these events can't be successful and fun for everybody. And also, as a free-to-play player, you shouldn't expect to always be able to complete everything. I think that's a mentality that I've heard a lot. I don't go into the event. I didn't go into Forlorn Fair expecting to be able to complete all 3 stages, right? That's an unfair expectation. Now, have I been able to grind and have we been able to move through? And for many of you, you've been able to get through multiple iterations of that event and get some of the top tier rewards. That's great. That's what you should be able to do. If you want to max it, if you want to get to the end, especially faster, right? You should expect that you're going to have to pay something, right? In either your time or some resources or, eventually at some point, some money. So some different perspectives. I am pretty disappointed overall. I likely will not be playing the event. I will tell you that on my free to play, I did jump in a few times. Springs are still really important for me. So I played a couple iterations. I got to the first maybe 10 levels because I just wanted to grab 10 springs. That helped me get a few weapon mods complete. You do get a weapon mod. I think 2 blueprints for weapon mods at level 5. Might be worthwhile jumping in and grabbing those if you don't have a ton. Other than that, you're probably avoiding it and it is what it is. So let me know your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. I didn't mean to just sit here and ramble at you, but I did think that perspective is important. Understanding kind of where the game has been, I think, is important. So when you hear folks share their opinions that have been playing the game for a while, you have a little bit better context for why they may be having those opinions. Certainly we can disagree, but again, I'm disappointed. It doesn't make sense to me why you would reset the track progress. Here's the other thing: they could have allowed us to reset it ourselves if they wanted folks to be able to grind through it. I think that would actually been really cool. If you didn't like the top end crate rewards, right, and you made it through all 30 levels, especially over a couple of seasons, and you got the ability to just reset that track yourself and work back through the track and grab, the Blackport cards and things like that, that would have been perfect. I would have done that on my main account. I would have easily done that, and it would have been worth grinding every season to go and to get that progress and then keep working through that track. I think that would have been really smart to do it. It's just really unfortunate folks are going to miss out on the opportunity to get those really cool skins. I think those are some of the best skins we have in the game, and it feels kind of crappy to lock that behind coins without being able to grind it over multiple seasons. So let me know what you think. With that being said, I am excited for this one thing here. This just posted over on the Last Day on Earth official Discord. If you want to stay up to date with game news, you can do that in our Discord as well. It pulls all of the game news info over, and we have these two things right here. The caption came with "Winter is coming." That means you need to insulate yourself. Last Day on Earth has quite a selection of winter apparel to keep the cold and the zombies away. I got asked a couple of comments in the Discord. These are all speculation. Okay, it's all speculation. I don't have any additional information. What this does look like is maybe some revamped armor here, fur armor. I'm going to guess that this is just a model update. Okay, I don't think this left-hand side is a new set of armor. I could be wrong. I think it'd actually be kind of interesting to see like fur armor and then like essentially the different animals. So you could have like the deer pelts, right? And the fox fur, and then you have the deer pelt and wolves, and then fox fur. We've got boars, we've got alligators. We've seen some other skins from that for some previous events, so some of that stuff might be able to come back. I don't know, but I think that would be pretty cool to see different iterations of this armor, and then that could scale up as well. I think that would be really neat. You could get some basic level protection from your just regular fur. You get out there and get some fox fur. Maybe that has some extra insulating properties, or maybe it's just a better class of armor. Would be really cool. What I am excited about here is this looks like reinforced, fur armor, which is really cool. I think this system is going to work a lot like we have it right now, where you're going to be adding, hopefully, iron plates and iron to this, and you're going to get some extra protection. We see a lot of bones here, and bones are a very rare drop from boss enemies. Typically, it's usually where you're going to be able to find them. I would love to see those incorporated in this, although it is a very rare resource. So it's kind of tough. It's kind of in that weird tough spot where, like, if you have them, this would be great to use them on. If you don't have them, you're going to be like, well, that sucks. I can't build these. I would love to see like multiple tiers of reinforced armor as well. I think it'd be really neat to have that, but this looks really cool. I'm excited for this. I think fur armor has always struggled because it's okay. It's like decent armor. It's just not great. There are better armors in the game for sure, your SWAT armors and stuff like that. So having a reinforced option is really cool. I'm excited about this. I think this is the first kind of sneak peek we're getting for the Northern Region update and the bigger update that is coming. I am really excited to hear, and I'm kind of crossing my fingers hoping for just a really big update with a bunch of content, right? I think switching up the zones is going to be interesting. I think what they're going to do, or potentially what they could do with the Northern Region, is going to make that a lot more fun to go to. I could not tell you the last time I've been to a Northern Region to farm literally anything at all, period. Certainly head to Oak Zones to do what we need to there, but you know, you're not going there for copper. There are better ways to get copper in the game that don't require going to the Frosty Zones and fighting the Frosty zombies. So I'm also just like really hoping. I'm hoping we get some cool mods for some weapons to help us take down some frost zombies. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I'm just really hopeful. I'm really hopeful. I'm hopeful that this is just one iteration of us getting the ability to make some more stuff and do some new things. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's the info that we have so far. That's the speculation, and I think that's very fair speculation that we have here. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this new update brings, and hopefully it's coming here pretty soon. The other thing I'm going to say, we're over halfway now through October, so Halloween event, it's on its way. Hopefully it's a good one. We'll be letting you know as soon as it drops. So thanks for checking this one out. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'm gonna flash some socials, like, come, subscribe. I don't always do these just chatting at you videos, but here's one for you today, just to ponder, think about some things. Let me know if you're doing Headhunting Arena or if you're just absolutely skipping it, and I don't blame you if you are, because I probably will be too. So unless it gets changed, which maybe it will in the future, we'll see. Thanks for checking this one out. We got lots more Last Day on Earth action. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, socials, do the YouTube thing, help us continue to grow. We really appreciate it, and we're just grinding away on free to play. We're gonna have some really cool progress to share with you here very soon, so be sure to stay tuned. Thanks. Catch you in the next one. Peace.